Hello, welcome to Quack This Way YouTube channel. My name is Dennis, and in this video I'm going to show you why you should set up the memory recall and how to do it on the ZV-E10. Alright, so I have my ZV-E10 here. I got my camera set up off to the side. I'm using my computer. Okay, so the next thing is setting up your memory recall. Okay, and why is this important? The reason it's important is because in manual setting, as you switch between the three modes, it does not remember previous settings. It just stays the same as it goes through. So right now you can see I am on Intelligent Auto. Okay, but let me switch to camera mode real fast. So S and Q, now I'm in camera. All right, I'm gonna hit my function button. I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to change what mode I'm in. Okay, so let's go to manual. Okay, function button. I want to remind you that I did set that up as a custom button. I changed the drive mode button to the mode button, so I could hit that directly and then boom, I'm right here, right? And this is why I want it, because I want to be able to change from manual to memory recall 1. Okay, that is why I set that. But let's stay in manual mode. Okay, let's see, I'm at 1/250th of a second at 5.6, okay? Now if I hit my mode, it does remember what mode you're in. So now I went into camera mode, but we're all professionals here, right? So we're gonna switch it back to manual mode. Okay. So if I was taking photos, which is what mode I'm in right now, and it's really bright outside, I'm at 1/400th and I got 5.6, I'm using auto ISO, right? And then boom, I want to record. If I switch over to the record setting, look, all my settings stayed the same, right? And I can't just hit record and get going. It's not pre-saved if I leave it in manual. But if I save memory recall, what is great is there's a memory recall for each of the settings. So you do a memory recall for camera, you do a memory recall for video, and you do a memory recall for S&Q. Then if you switch into manual, it keeps whatever you had just left there the last time you used it in manual. It stays there, right? So that's kind of, in a way, you can have 4 different types of settings. So the other interesting thing is that in the camera mode, you can record, okay, but it uses whatever settings the cameras are set up for. So there's a record button. As soon as you hit record, it would go. So if I hit record right now, it would record at 1/400th of 5.6, which is obviously not what you want. But if you don't take pictures, right, and the ZV-1 isn't the best for pictures, you can just set it up for a different record setting. So you could use the camera and the camera preset as recording options. You don't have to take pictures because you can use it. So let's set it up for slow-mo. So I'm going to hit my menu. I'm going to go up to, I'm in 1080 right now. I'm going to go to record settings, and I'm going to go to 120p, which is why I recommend using this for slow-mo instead of S&Q, because it's still both 120, but you get a higher bit rate in this setting, and you get audio. So there we go. We have file format as HD. We have 120p, 100 megabytes a second. All right, I'm going to hit my menu button. All right, now next I'm going to hit function. I'm going to set up my function settings. Okay, I don't want to be in auto ISO, so I'm going to go down and set it at 200. All right, I want that off. Soft skin effect, I want off. Why do I keep hitting function? I'll leave it auto white balance. Focus area. Tracking zone, I use wide. Leave that at wide. Autofocus continuous. Sorry, there's wide. Autofocus continuous. Right now I have picture profile off. You could decide later if you want to preset that stuff, right? You could use SLOG2, you could use an HLG, whatever you want to use, but right now I'm just going to leave it off for simplicity. Drive mode, if you take pictures a lot, maybe you want to change that. Sometimes I do. So put it on mid. All right, so those are my settings. Actually, let me change my aperture. See, aperture down to 200, and my frame rate, or my shutter speed, to 2/50th, right? 120 times 2 is 240, so I got 250 is the closest I got, so we go with it. Okay, so boom. So those are my settings that I want to keep. So now we go to menu, and go to the first tab, third window, and we're gonna set our camera set memory in 1. So the 1 stays in the camera, and those M1, M2, M3, M4 would be on your SD card. So you could set up more, but then every time you change your SD card, it would change. So I've set up everything I want. I hit enter, and I've registered it. Okay, let me menu back out. All right, so now I'm on manual. So let me change a few things, right? So let's go to 640. I'm gonna change my aperture. Oops, that's not what I was wanting. Yeah, okay, boom. So I've changed some settings. Now I'm gonna use my preset button that I set up to go here. I'm gonna go down to MR1, and boom, it goes back to the things that I saved, everything that I set. So from this camera mode, I can hit record, and it's gonna record slow-mo. Now watch as I switch over to camera, it's in manual. Okay, and that was the settings that were in the camera in manual that I just changed, right? And so obviously that's not what we want. So from here, we would set everything up we want again. So again, I go back to my settings here. So I would normally change this to 4K, but I'm not gonna do it because I'm recording the screen. I would change this to 24 frames per second. All right, so we have HD. Normally, like I said, I would change it to 4K, and then I would change this to 24 frames per second, and it would be 100 megabytes, not 50. All right, we hit my function button. We're gonna set here autofocus. This is gonna be wide. Okay, we go ISO 200 is fine. Auto white balance is fine, that's off. Steady shot, I can turn steady shot off. Man, I gotta make sure that my other one was off now that I think about it. Gotta make sure the other one was off. Okay, I'm gonna change my aperture down to 2. I'm gonna change my shutter speed to 1/50. Okay, whatever settings you want to do for just normal recording. Whatever you have as you customize everything for you. And then boom, go back into first tab, third screen, set options, and enter, registered. Boom, I already did that. All right. So quick button to get my menu. I'm gonna go to MR1. Boom, so now I'm in M1 for camera, or excuse me, for recording. I'm gonna hit my option twice to go to camera. And look, everything went back to the settings that I saved in MR1. So now I could do slow-mo in the camera mode. MR1 you can see up in the left corner. I tap it once to go to the record mode. Boom, goes back to my 24p settings. All right. S&Q, you can set up a memory for S&Q. Like I said, what I typically do is set it up for one frame per second, 24p. So that's how it is. Now, say I want to take pictures. If I go into my picture preset, I'm in MR1. I could use my quick button drive, switch back to manual, and boom, and I can change it however I want to. I can take pictures, do all of that. If I'm doing double responsibility pictures and recording. Not everybody does that. I occasionally am doing that, and I'm able to use my settings, do everything in manual mode, and then as soon as I'm ready to and done taking pictures, I click my quick key, and I go back to MR1, and it's back to slow-mo. Or maybe I don't need slow-mo for the day, and I just leave it in manual, and I just use camera for actually taking pictures, and I use the record setting for preset for recording, right? So that's an option. But if you're video centric, then you can have one setting for slow-mo, one for normal speed, and one for time lapses, and that is a great way to set it up, all using memory recall. A lot of customization, easy to use. The thing I did not cover is that you can actually customize your function button and what shows up on that screen, and maybe I'll do another video on that. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear that. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, stick around for more content, and you can check out this video where I go into detail on how to set up custom menu settings.